Hello and welcome to Ecoholics Heart to Heart with Toppers. Our guest for today is the Indian Economics Service aspirant who recently qualified as a rank 7 in Indian Economics Service Examination 2022, Kaustubh Rajput. Welcome to the show, Kaustubh.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me.
We hope that you could let the little secrets out now since you have emerged victorious from this long examination.
I'll
So
definitely try, sir.
every topper has this result checking story and the family reaction. What is your story and how was the celebration that followed last night?
Okay, sir. So I was not. I don't think anyone was expecting for the result to come so soon. We were hoping for it to be at least a week or later. So I was with my mother watching a movie on Netflix. We were chilling, and suddenly I got a call from Shagun. Shagun is another candidate who cleared the exam, and he called me, and I was like, "Yes, tell me." And he congratulated me, and I was like, "Why are you congratulating me?" Then he told me that the result is out. I was like, "Okay." So that's how I came to know that the result is out, and then I checked the list, and I found my name on the 7th position, and my mother was very happy. I was quite normal. Maybe I was thinking in absorbing it or something. My mother was very excited. Then we called my father. Then in the evening only, some newspapers also contacted, and something happened. Some relatives and the close people in the town who came. I'm at my hometown, so people have been showering a lot of love since last night.
So you must be pinching yourself, like, is it really out? I'm getting selected, or finally these kind of things. So it must be a joy and
It's
experience once in a lifetime.
It's a joy, surely.
So, like, if I ask you today, like, are you all in all your senses? That can you imagine that that's the final result? Like what I wanted to achieve, finally I'm there, something like that.
Sir, it happens like that when we aim for something as big as this.
Yes.
That joyous. We feel okay, fine, we are there. In the sense that we were working for this, and in a way, we also deserve this in some way, and we got it. It's good, and it's really feel really grateful at the same time. And sometimes when you see people around you being very happy, your family, your friends, then it pinches you. Okay, it has really happened.
True. It would be nice if we start with a brief background about Kaustubh, so that aspirants can relate to your journey more. Since you have done your graduation and post-graduation from some of India's most prestigious colleges, how do you think that these have contributed in your journey for achieving this feat?
Okay, sir. So, sir, I'll start from giving a brief intro. I'm from Bundi, Rajasthan, and my primary education has been done from Emmanuel School, Bundi only. And then later on, I pursued my graduation from Ramjas and post-graduation from Delhi School of Economics. As far as you mentioned about the colleges are concerned, it really, in my opinion, builds your confidence to some extent, because you are among some of the best students in the country, best economics students in the country. So it builds your confidence. It also increases the competitiveness in the circle, and also strive you to work harder. So in that sense, it really helps a lot. And apart from that, it also makes for me, what happened was, before I even took my first attempt, I could see some of my seniors clearing this exam, which really built that confidence in me. That okay, people are clearing, people around me are clearing this examination, so even I can do that. So when you see people around you who achieve something like this, it also starts seeming achievable to you also. So I think getting education from a college like this, being a part of a circle like this, really makes things achievable, make things accessible.
Yes, indeed. Because generally people put their limitation on themselves, and that those limitations are like some kind of assumptions they take. So that's really great that you have seen that we can achieve. This is achievable, and people are doing near us, so we can also do. So that's a great motivation, Kaustubh, for all the upcoming aspirants as well. So you can listen to him. It does not require much of the effort. It's just that you should be courageous in order to attempt and give your 100%. So, Kaustubh, my next thing that I would like to ask, and all the students on behalf of, like, how many attempts did you take, and what were the mistakes in your previous attempts, if any?
So, sir, this was my second focus attempt. I attempted with all my preparation last year and this year.
Yes.
I would say, sir, last year where I really lagged was my speed in answer writing.
Yeah.
I almost left 20 marker questions in all the papers, either half or fully, and I was 25 marks short of the cutoff list. And I believe if I could have attempted those questions fully, I could have bridged that gap. So, sir, this year I really worked on my answer writing skills. The quality was there, but the speed was not there. And even this year, I was struggling with my speed a lot towards the end. So that thing I worked on. Apart from that, the GE1 paper specifically last year, that was really a curveball for me last year, because I could not attempt some 40 marker portion of the examination. So I really thought that if I could bridge that gap, because it's a very quantitative paper, there is a high chance of scoring good marks there.
Yes.
So that can really help me, and I can leverage that thing in the overall score. So I worked on that. Apart from these things, I really stress on the fact that I should enrich my content in order to make my answers stand apart from other candidates. So I started using a lot of factual things, a lot of data, committees, and also economic concepts here and there, so that my answer stands apart to some extent.
True, indeed. Like, it's a very interesting thing for all the students, those who are listening. Like, G1, people are scared with this paper, but let me tell you, this is one of the best scoring subject, as well, as Kaustubh told you. So
I would like to add something, sir.
Yeah.
I would like to add something here, sir. Despite having not attempted 40 marker portion last year, I scored the highest in the GE1. 95 I scored there. 95. So that really showed me how you can excel in this paper if you do well, if you cover a large portion of this subject.
True. Because other paper looks easy. We'll come back to the paper once again, one by one. But since we are discussing this, other papers looks easy on eyes, but in theoretical papers, difficult to get marks by forming the opinion something. So So, Kaustubh, you said that you have prepared for like one last attempt and this attempt. So how did you manage your time? Like, were you working somewhere, or you were like preparing for the full time? How did you manage your time?
So, sir, I was not working. I didn't take. DSC has a very good record for placements, but I didn't sit because I was interested in doing this only, and I decided to prioritize and devote my entire time to this. So managing time was not that difficult because I was not doing anything else with it, and so I just ensured that I should be consistent, and I should devote on an average 7 to 8 hours daily to study. And in the rest of the time, I should also do something for my mental health, indulge myself in other activities, be physically active. So yes, sir, I ensured all those things.
Okay. So that's really great that you told that you were able to devote a particular amount of time. So that I understood that after getting out of DSC, you had a thought that I have to do Indian Economic Service. So what was the motivation behind getting into Indian Economic Service, and why only Indian Economic Service over other competitive exams?
Okay, sir. So, the seed of UPSC, in fact, was sowed by my father. He was very persistent on me taking up the UPSC examination from the time of my graduation only. But up until my first year of masters, I was not taking it that much seriously. And to some extent, I was also inclined to go into the private sector. But then, due to some personal reasons and some inner motivation came to do something for the public service, to do something in the public sector, and to utilize my academic career in economics to build a public stature. So that was the first motivation that drove me to it. Later on, then when I started researching about it, the the nature of the service is that it is very specialized service. It is very unique, which and it has both the components of administration and economics intertwined
Yes.
with each other, which really fascinated me, sir. And I thought, since I have a good academic experience in economics, I should definitely go in this direction and utilize this as my career path. So, sir, that's how I started the journey.
That's really great, Kaustubh. Very honest answer. What I feel now, the Indian economy is in good hands now. That's I can make assure. So
Hopefully, sir.
yes. So well, we can say how it started. How did you start your preparation? So we thought about like motivation you got from somewhere. You have an idea, but from where I can say it's like from one day to day one how you have converted. So it was like how it started. Like what was your thought process in the first month of the preparation or first few weeks of the preparation?
So, sir, I would say that I have covered a very vast ground
Yeah,
in improving my concepts or improving just economics as a subject or improving just my opinions. In
yeah,
fact, uh, if I have to begin from the very beginning, sir, I think very important, which is for any examination and for any candidate, is to have the syllabus in your hand. And
sure.
the candidate should write down the entire syllabus, and that's what I did in the beginning of my preparation. I wrote down the entire syllabus, and I looked
Yes,
through the past year papers of the last 5 years, and
yes,
I saw what type of questions are coming. Because when you see some questions and if they seem familiar, that automatically builds some confidence in you. That okay, you are aware of some of the things, so it is not that far fetched. It is in reach beginning. That's something that a candidate should do in order to build confidence. And then I
yes,
started with making notes, because somehow I realized that it's a subjective paper, it's the answer writing paper. So in order to write well, you should have good notes. And
yes,
I tried really hard to make notes, because I was not a note making person before that. But now that is my favorite part of the whole structure, whole strategy. I just love making notes now. And it can differ from student to student. I incorporated a lot of things in my notes. I made it colorful. I used different pens so that when even when I read, it looks attractive to me.
yes,
I should like reading the notes. So I
true.
made it very clean, very clear, and very structured, with a lot of information which is relevant. So that was the beginning phase of the
Yeah,
preparation. It began with the understanding of the exam, because understanding the exam is very important, and then it
yes.
what is required to clear the exam. So that's the true process.
Yeah. So, Costa, how much time did you take to complete the syllabus once?
Sir, as far as I can remember, sir, it was around 4 months that it
Yeah.
took me to cover the
Mhm.
syllabus once. And I think last year what happened, sir, I covered it a bit late.
Yeah.
I covered it by May only, and the
Okay.
examination was in July. So it did not leave me a lot of time to revise, and I had not started my answer writing practice by then. So I
Okay.
got a bit late. I just did not fathom well. I did not strategize well last year. So this year I initiated my answer writing in February only, so that
Yes.
I have a long time to improve and long time to work. So that really benefited me a lot, because that also built my speed
Yeah.
and also improved my structure for the answer writing. So, and at the same time, it also helped me cover the syllabus and have a wide coverage of the subjects.
Yeah.
Because even if you haven't covered the syllabus, you should
Yeah.
keep writing. You should be consistent with the answer writing, because even through doing the answer writing, you can cover some of the topics and some of the papers.
Perfectly. Perfectly. Because that's the thing that I tell the students as well. Like answer writing is the part of your preparation. Don't wait to finish the syllabus. It's a part of the process. You have to start. So you can
Yes,
listen
sure, sure.
from the toppers. It's himself. He can say that he's saying that last year that was one of the main lacuna that he started answer writing late. So let me tell you, if you are preparing for 2023, it's the best time to write answers.
Yes, sir.
And of
You
course,
should
yeah,
start. Yes,
yes.
sir. You should start.
Next thing I want to understand, Kaustubh, like there are 4 papers. If I ask you the difficulty level that you found, that like this paper was the most difficult, then the second, then the third, and make a chronology of it. So, what would be your opinion on that?
So I think for me, there are two parameters of difficulty. One is difficulty in studying for a particular paper and
Yeah.
difficulty in writing for a particular paper.
Yes.
I think studying for GE2 was the hardest for me because it has a vast syllabus.
Vast syllabus. Yeah.
And to some extent, writing the answers for GE2 also is a bit complicated because it needs to have a proper structure. Because sometimes they ask you to explain the full model, but you have only 200 words. So you have to accumulate all the information in those 200 words in a very structured manner, which gets a bit complicated. So, and you have to also ensure that your answer has a good targeting of the question.
Yes.
So GE2 is the hardest for me to study. But as far as writing the paper is concerned, GE1 is the hardest to write. It is very interesting to read, to study,
Yeah.
but it is very hard to write because it's a very lengthy paper.
Yes.
I still remember I received the paper and then I just started it. I started and I went, and I didn't think I still completed the whole paper, but I managed to complete whatever I knew. Some portions which I couldn't, I just wasn't aware of those things at the moment. So you should have, I believed that I needed a different strategy for GE1 compared to the other subjects. So I ensured that I have a particular strategy for GE1 and the same for the other papers.
Or other three,
Yes. And I think it can differ from student to student, candidate to candidate, according to your capacity.
True. So, Kaustubh, can you briefly tell us about the sources and the books that you have referred for all the 6 papers? Students generally have the query and curiosity to understand, like, what are the sources? So, if you can just elaborate. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So I will start from the beginning, from the general English, sir.
Yes.
So for general English, I did practice essay writing. As far as any book or source is concerned, I didn't refer to any particular source. But there are some good links which explain you how to write a good précis. And there are some YouTube links which explain you how to write a good essay. So I refer to them to build the base up. And then I also incorporated a lot of quotations and good sentences for conclusions and the beginning so that I can enrich my essay. At the same time, sir, since I'm a huge cinema buff, I watch a lot of movies and shows. So I ensured whenever I come across a particular word or a phrasal verb, I note it down, so that it also helps me in my word meanings and phrasal verbs. And it did help me. Apart from that, I also used to make notes of the words and phrasal verbs, which I used to come across in the newspapers or in the things I watch. So that was one strategy. So that's how I prepared for general English, sir.
When we talk about GS, there are 4 subjects. Obviously, one is economics, so it has covered in other 4 papers. But what about history, geography, and polity?
So, sir, I used to make notes. I used to make online notes for GK. But somehow I could not properly give time to them, and I was able to revise them only in the later phase of my preparation. So I think candidates can have a better time management strategy with GK. I still think I lack that in this attempt. But what I really ensured in this time that each of my answer is properly structured. There should be a body, structure, and conclusion, and there has to be, and this body should be in points. And I tried to attempt all the questions, and I almost attempted all the 20 questions this time. So that was an improvement from the last year. Apart from sources are concerned, sir, I just used to make notes, and I used to make proper notes in the Word document, and I just got it printed in the later phase of my preparation and just revised them once.
To revise it quickly, yes. And then what about the other 4 economics paper?
Yes, sir. So coming to the GE1, sir, basic books that we have, such as Gujarati for econometrics, Sisseter and Hammond for your mathematics, concepts of economics, and for micro, I relied to some extent on Nicholson and Snyder. So that was one of our sources. So I believe whichever source comes easy to you, comes naturally to you, you should go for that.
Yes.
For international trade, I refer to Paul Krugman. And for the first section, I refer to the class 12th macroeconomics, because it has a good section on the national income accounting.
National.
Yes, sir. And for the part of macroeconomics and financial markets, I just relied on the Google, sir. I just used to go to the topics and make notes from them, and keep adding more and more to them.
Like global institutions and other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And also, sir, global institutions have become very dynamic in the last 2 years.
Yes. What you did for economic thought?
So for economic thought, I utilize the Google only, sir. And sometimes I also utilize YouTube. There are some good video links for mercantilists, for physiocrats. And sometimes since I thought that there was something missing in my physiocrat school of thought. So I searched for the official document, official books, which can give me more information about it. And such as there is a question about W economic. So I tried to gather more information about it so that I can enrich my answer. So I did things like that.
I totally understand.
Okay, sir.
So Kaustubh, now we talk about public finance and environmental economics and other G3. What you have referred?
So again, for public finance, no particular book. I know people recommend Musgrave for it, but I haven't referred to that book. And for environmental eco, it was largely dynamic, because a lot of the things and sources and the questions that even come in that have been coming in the last few years have tilted towards the dynamic side of the environmental eco, such as the COP26 and other things. There are some static questions about the use value, non-use value, and sub methods of environmental valuation, which one can easily find on Google if you search, or you can also find some good readings, some good documents on the Google if you find it. Apart from that, the industrial eco is normally covered with your GE1 preparation.
Yes.
And what I slightly did different this time with the state market and planning was to bring more substance in my notes, to enrich the notes, bring some new points, add some more data, because I did realize that most of the people are citing a bit of a similar structure, similar reasoning kind of answers in the questions like imperative planning and indicative planning, because there is not a wide amount of arguments for and against for these things. So I tried to enrich those things, make them different, make them more defined. So I try to do that thing in the state market planning. And
the last paper.
Coming to the Indian economic paper, sir, I think that was the most interesting paper for me to study for, because it is very dynamic, and since I was consistent with my newspaper reading, so it really helped me to build a base for it. It also keeps you updated with the economic happenings in the country. So preparing for it also gives you a sense of that you are quite updated with the economic happenings of the country. At the same time, sir, I tried a lot and made separate notes for each section, crisp notes for each section with and I divided those notes in different sections as in factual things, data things, committees, panels, and economic concepts that I can utilize, because it is very important to utilize economic concepts also in Indian economic paper, such as you can use cobweb model in inflation impulses, things like that you can use to make your answer stand apart from others.
Yeah, more connected, more integrated with other concepts as well. That's really great, Kaustubh. And this is how you summed up a 360-degree view of your preparation. So, Kaustubh, now two very important things people ask. One is answer writing. How did you start your answer writing? And the second is the revision strategy. So, we want to understand how you have started answer writing. What was your daily routine of answer writing? or did you write any full test or one answer per day or something like that? So what was it?
Okay, sir. So I'll really begin with saying that for every candidate, answer writing can come differently. Some may have a good grasp of it, some may not. I think I was very weak at it in the beginning. I
Yeah.
still remember since I took the Ecoholics test series last year also and this time also. I still remember one of the first answers, one of the first papers I wrote, and my introduction was so generic. It was it was very generic, just to put it that way. And from that time to this time, I really improved on it. And for me, it took a lot of practice. So
Yes.
you have to understand, you have to recognize if you are good at it or not. If you are not, take it seriously, do practices. I did not used to write one answer daily, but I used to practice one complete paper once in a week in a
Yeah.
very time-bound manner, since it's a 3-hour paper. So I put a clock in front of me and I used to sit and I used to finish it, try to finish it within 3 hours so that it give me a semblance of the examination, of the real
Yes.
examination. So I
Yes.
used to practice like that, sir.
True.
One test a week.
Perfectly. Yeah. So you have to like create the environment of actual examination. That's
Surely,
really
sir.
commendable.
Surely, sir.
Yeah.
Surely, sir. And I would like to add, sir,
Yeah.
once you get the evaluation of the test, it is very important to go through what mistakes you have done and to properly
True.
reevaluate your answer writing. Otherwise, there is no benefit of writing all those answers if you are not
True.
reevaluating.
True. There is no point of. Obviously, we have to see the points, the improvement point, the suggestion that is written in the test series, and each and every paragraph matters a lot. Like you are doing writing good introduction, but not conclusion. Some their data is missing, something like that. So
Surely, sir.
that really improved. Yeah. So one thing I've seen your copies personally as well. So there's like tremendous amount of improvement if we compare from the first copy to the last copy that you have submitted. So, last thing that I would like to understand from the examination perspective, the revision strategy. Everyone says that revision is the key. Like you said, also, you have completed your syllabus like once in 4 months. So, initially, but after that, how did you revise? How you have made the timetable to incorporate revision regularly, weekly, daily, and what was the strategy?
So I'll again add here, it can differ from person to person.
Yeah,
So, sir, since I was a part of a test series, there was already a schedule to which I
yeah,
have to adhere to.
yeah.
So that set some deadlines for me and some deadlines that in order to attempt this particular exam, I have to cover this much subject with this
Yes.
much proportion. So that's how I started the revision also, since there are two full tests in the end. So I used to
Yes.
revise according to that accordingly to that. And I gave 1.5 month in the end, towards the end, in order
Yes.
to cover the whole syllabus once and then twice. So I think I did a couple of rounds of revisions. And at
Yeah.
the same time, when you keep writing the answers, the revision keeps happening automatically. So
Yes.
that also helps a lot.
True. True. That is what we call reverse engineering. When you write test, you get to know like what is there to retain, what is there to improve. So you tend to understand like writing test series is a proof of your study, what you have studied. So
Surely, sir.
that's the great thing that
Because when you write so many answers, there is a high probability some of it will land there.
obviously,
And there is a high
yes.
probability, and that the structure you wrote in that will come very naturally and in a very good pace there. So
Yes.
answer writing is the key, sir.
Answer writing is the key. Yeah, because that's the thing that will represent you in the obviously in
Sir.
the examination. And 1,000 marks in comparison to 200. So interview takes later on. Let's talk about interview, Kaustubh. Like I remember that we had a session as well before
Yes,
interview
sir.
and before that. How was your experience? Like, how did you think? Like, what went wrong? What went right in the interview? That's why you're here.
Sir, I loved my interview experience. I still don't know how good or bad I scored,
Yes.
but I thought that the interview experience was surreal. I just I don't know, sir. Maybe it was something some feeling of being in the UPSC premises, maybe.
Yeah.
But just the general vibe of the UPSC premises was so great. The people were very cordial. They were very kind, and my interview It was around 4:30, and I reached the premises by 12. So it was a long wait. But
Yes.
somehow it didn't affect me. I was like, okay, I will revise my notes. It, it's good that I have the last slot, so I kept revising my notes.
Yes.
And I was eating. They have also provided us some snacks. So I was
Yes.
eating, also reading, and then when my turn came, somehow I was there is always some amount of nervousness because it's a high stake thing. But when I entered the room, the panel members were very cordial, very cordial. They were very kind. To some extent, they were also slightly informal.
Okay.
Maybe that was their test
Yeah.
to see if I'm being formal or not.
Yes.
It can be very nice, and they made me sort of feel like they're equal. Though you need to maintain that formality, but
True.
yes, that and also, sir, after each and every answer of me, they were nodding nicely, and they were also saying that I agree to you. Good. They were passing remarks like this, so
Yes.
it was really encouraging. At the same time, they were also moving a lot. Like
Okay.
if one panel member was answering, other was taking his chair up and going out of the room and then coming in. So a lot of that thing also was happening, but that can again maybe to test your
Yeah,
focus or whatever
distractions and the
other thing.
focus. That's true. That was something different that I'm hearing for the first time. So that's really great. But otherwise, IES panelists are more interrogative. So that's see, Kaustubh, apart from academics, what we have done, because what I consider is competitive exams are like more than 50% is a mental game. You have also faced some kind of high points, low points in your preparation part of like 1.5 year or the same. How did you deal with them?
So it's definitely not easy. Because as I mentioned in the starting
Yeah.
that I was not doing any job. This was my full times, and
Yeah.
since I was invested fully in this, I did not had much difficulty in managing my time for it. So as I was saying, it also gives you an ample amount to overthink. So when it didn't land me last year, it really hurt. And at that time, your patience is the key. Your self belief is the key, and the amount of belief people around you show in you. That's the key. In To that part, I would really love to credit my family, my friends, that they have been very supportive and they have shown ultimate faith in me, ultimate belief in me that I'll be able to clear this thing. And even if I don't in the next attempt, they have the patience for the attempts. So there was some assurance, some that kind of assurance, which really powers you, motivates you to keep working. At the same time, I think so. Particularly this year, I really manifested a lot of things positively, and I tried to have a very positive outlook with this year. Uh, I wrote my goals on the. I can read it daily so that it becomes more accessible to me. It becomes more real for me. So things like those you can do. I also relied on music a lot. I still remember I had a couple of songs that I used to listen before the exams so that it pumps me up and makes my confidence more stronger. So yes, things like that. And I relied on many external factors, be it music, art, my friends, my family. I relied on everyone.
That's really great because you need some kind of on and off from the preparation to keep you mentally healthy. You said as well, like you did some workout as well, like a physical exercise to keep yourself healthy. Yeah, in terms of,
Yes,
can you share a bit more on that? What kind of physical workout that you were engaged in?
Sir, what happens is when you study, you are sitting.
Yeah.
And you sit for 8 to 10 hours and you are not walking, you are not doing anything. So personally, that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
So after initial 2 weeks, I realized that I have to do something.
Yes.
So I enrolled into a gym and I was consistent with my gym. I used to work out there for an hour daily. I used to ensure that five days out of 7 days in a week,
Yeah.
I go to the gym and I have some physical activity. And if sometimes I'm not able to go to the gym, I at least go on a run, on a proper run,
Yeah.
so that so that it freshens me up. Think of okay, something I've done physically that fulfills my day. Even those little feelings can
Yes.
give you a lot.
Yes, yes, Kaustav. That's really important for a student's or aspirant's life. At last, Kaustav, I would like to understand how was your experience with Ecoholics. If you have few words for the Ecoholics team, it might like, keep up their spirits high.
Yes, sir, definitely. I would like to add, sir, that all the people, all the faculty that I've interacted with on Ecoholics have been very cordial and very kind and ultra supportive. Even when the answer writing phase, I know I used to call Sajata a lot. If you can please speed it up. And she was always very nice and cordial, and uh, uh, and the faculty is very responsive. They are very accessible. I can contact them anytime. I can mail them anytime, and they would always ensure that my problem and query was taken care of. So in that form, sir, I think Ecoholics has been very instrumental in my journey. And even in the later path for the interview thing, sir, I received proper guidance from the Ecoholics team.
Thank you, Kaustav. Thank you for taking out time in these times of celebration. We wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors, and we'll stay connected with a vibrant officer like you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your kind words, sir.